Hi, so I'm Tom Ide, and I want to welcome you to my first video of our new cabin build. About 6 years ago, we bought a cabin out here in the Puget Sound, which I'll show you a picture of. Pretty awesome location, and but the house was an old double-wide trailer that had been fixed up pretty nice, but we always intended to build a new cabin. And so we tore down the old place in April. It's now end of October 2021, and we are starting construction. So it took us a while to get going with the pandemic and the shortage of people to do the work, but I wanted to provide a video kind of overview of what we're doing here. So we are I'm really excited to say that we're actually building this to passive house standards, which is a German standard for building a super energy efficient house that typically uses 10% or less of the energy of a normal house. And so there's a lot of very important design principles associated with that, which we'll cover in a different video. But for now, I want to show you some of the progress being done. So you can see the house here. We have the main house, which would be a 2-story cabin, and then in the back we have actually the back of it near the road. We actually have our garage, which we're super excited to have because today all we had is a carport. So far we got the foundation poured. We actually put a rat slab in, which I'll show you here in a second, and the floor framing went up last week. We are using warm board radiant heat, so the next step of this process is to put in those floors, and hopefully that'll be done next week. So far with the passive house standards, there isn't a lot that we've really kind of done to date, but you can see some evidence. I'll get a little closer here. There's definitely some sealing going on underneath the rim or the sill plates, just to help with air infiltration. This house will be super airtight. Think of it almost being built like a Yeti cooler with lots of insulation and air tightness just to keep all the energy in. We did put a rat slab in. I have a lot of experience with going down into crawl spaces that are covered with dirt and plastic and are pretty ugly. So we decided to pour this concrete. I'll go down here and show you. And we actually had a pretty big rainstorm this week. We're not building this in the ideal time of the year here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's sloped to drain down to the sump pump, and it worked beautifully during the rainstorm. So like I said, the next step here is to put those warm boards on. That'll be the first step of our lower air barrier, and I'll chronicle that here in a week or so to show you how that works. So basically the air barrier has to get built from the bottoms up. It'll be a little bit easier because these joists, as you can see, hang from the sill plate versus sitting on top of them. So we'll be able to actually build a very tight air barrier underneath and on top actually of the warm boards, using a lot of sealing tape that's very effective. It's cutting off all of those possible points where the air can come in. So that's it for the first video. Hopefully you join in the future, and we'll keep chronicling this build and hopefully show everybody a little bit about how you build a home to passive standards.